Hey guys, this is Carnivore 5. Today I'm bringing you guys another freelance offensive tutorial. Today we're going to be talking about the flow offense. And we're going to start it out with the motion cuts. To get there, hit left on the D-pad, R1, offensive strategy, hit up on the half court set, and go to page 2 and you'll see flow. It's your third option down. You hit left with the right analog. Again, it's very important you guys have motion selected. Space to floor, like I said, you don't really want to run that much unless it's a 4-out, or basically just a 4-out or 3-out offense. You want to run pick and rolls or something, or ISOs. Freelance, especially for flow, you will get different actions, and a lot of that is based on your POEs and the player's tendencies. So if you run freelance with this flow, you'll get a lot of looks with Aldrich, since he is the best offensive player out there. So you want to keep it through, in my opinion, you want to keep it through motion. You can later change it to freelance if you want. I'll show you the difference between the two while we run this. But just starting out, we're going to start out with the motion. This is a 3-out, 2-in offense, meaning you need two, inside big guys, whether they're power forwards or centers. It doesn't really matter. I mean, you could put a stretch four in there, but in my opinion, you really wouldn't be utilizing this offense to its fullest. So bringing the ball up, this is what the base looks like. We start with the down screen from Leonard, pass it to him. There's a handoff action, and then Parker gets a screen right away. We got that pick and pop of Duncan. And then the opposite wing will get a double down screen to come up to the top, and that is your first first action, or branch, I guess you could call it, within this offense. Show you guys again. I mean, you have about 4 options right off from the get-go. And you always can get a good shot right there too at the end. So let me run through it a few more times. Alright, this first play, you have a shot with Leonard. If it's there, shoot it. You got the handoff. You can do a fake handoff if you want. And then you got the pick and pop, pick and roll with Duncan. Alright. And then if you hold the ball, Green will get a double down screen. Come to the top. Or whoever the opposite guard is. So it was like 4 or 5 options. And that's just the beginning, guys. This is a really good freelance offense. That's just the first branch. Or if we hold the ball, we'll get a screen. Right, and then this will lead into 2 more screens, a down screen and a flare screen. Alright, so let me show you guys that again. Get up here and hold the ball. Alright, so if we hold the ball right here, he'll come and screen you. So will Aldridge. Run off that screen, and then Parker will come off a down screen. Aldridge will go off a flare. And if we even hold the ball even longer, Aldridge... Oh, passed the wrong guy. Aldridge will get this ISO up here. Just go to work. If it's Duncan, he'll usually screen away. Depends on what type of big you have. If you have like somebody like Aldridge with great high post offensive efficiency, you can just ISO him. So again, if you hold it, you get this double down or double on ball screen. Then you get a flare and a down screen. Alright, so I don't know how many options that is. That's about 10 from the get-go. So that is your motion cuts. That's what your motion cuts is going to look like. We'll run through it a few more times. This is your handoff. You hold circle to do the handoff, by the way, guys. And then a lot of the times, if you have a fast point guard, this will be open on that pick after the handoff. And then, of course, we got the double down screen. Alright, so let me show you the freelance real quick, what I'm talking about. I don't really recommend it. The only time I really recommend freelance is if you're running the triangle, because it will get you post-ups with like Carmelo or something, or whatever team you're running it with. So right here, yeah, you see Aldridge already wants the high post-up, and this really has nothing to do with the flow offense. This is like your last read in the flow offense. You can call this for any play, any time, in my opinion. This is just wasting the offense. You do a lot more. Try to get a lot more reads, get the defense moving around before you go to that high post ISO. And again, this is just a high pick and roll. We can call that any time. I find that to be kind of useless. Not to say it's useless completely. I mean, if you do run freelance, it can throw your opponent off. And again, another downs are a back screen by Aldridge, so he can ISO on that side of the court. Again, we can do that anytime. You can just call it quick post up. Alright, there's no point, in my opinion, of doing that. So this is what the freelance looks like for flow. I don't really recommend it. Again, a lot of it's going to determine or be based off what your POEs are set to, and of course we can't set our POEs in practice. So maybe if you call pick and roll, you'll see a lot more on ball screens. If you call get cheaters open, you'll see that the double down screen, or you'll see the down screen, flare screen at the same time. Depends on what your POEs are. Like I said, I would just stick to motion cuts, and then if you see something break down, and then call for that manual pick and roll. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. Alright. Be any instance. Like say you get a switch on this first screen right here. I don't know if it's ever gonna happen, but look, I did get a switch actually. I have Draymond Green. I'm like, alright, I see this. I want to get Aldridge the ball on the post. Okay, that's when you want to freelance. You want to freelance on your own within the motion cuts, in my opinion. Alright. So look for those switches. Right here, I can just keep the ball if I want. And then look, there's a whole nother branch. Leonard gets a down screen. Parker gets a back screen. I didn't even show that earlier. That's a whole different branch. Let's show that again. Down this handoff, I want to hold it instead of hand it off. And then you get 2 more quick actions here. So yeah, I mean, there's actually probably 12 total options in this offense. Pretty amazing. This is probably one of my favorite freelance offenses. But you know, like I said, I've been getting a lot of questions about what the difference between motion and freelance is, and I pretty much just showed you. Motion, you're going to stay within the offense. It doesn't matter what players you have there. You're going to run through the offense no matter what. Freelance is going to be based off players' tendencies and your POVs. So I showed you guys the offense enough. I'll break it down even more, put some annotations in there, and then we're going to get to some gameplay, guys. So see you then. Alright guys, so let's get right into it. I'll show you my POEs. Again, it doesn't really matter if you're running motion. But if you want to run freelance, make sure you have the POE set to what you want. I always put on patient because I want to run through the half-court offense, especially trying to demonstrate the offense to you guys. Totally up to you. If you guys want to see more fast break opportunities, put it on shoot at will. However, it doesn't affect how fast they move through the offense. I think that's a misconception. Getting into it, so for this video, I pretty much ran all motion. I showed you guys the freelance actions. I didn't want to really focus on that too much. It's always an option for you guys, though. Let's go ahead and get started here. Get the ball to Leonard off the down screen, do this handoff. Nothing's there, but this double down screen, the Parker gets a wide open shot and he hits it. That's open a lot, guys, if you run through it. And the person that will get the down screen will be the opposite guard. So if you pass to the left side, it'll be the guard on the right side that'll get that down screen at the end of the shot clock. Again, running through it, I see the play breaking down, so I call a pick and fade with Aldridge, and that's money for him. Honestly, you could almost run that all day of Aldridge. It's a very difficult play to stop, especially if someone as skilled as Aldridge. So that was always my go-to play when the freelance broke down. Again, handoff here to Parker, and I do a reverse. No, I don't. I kick it out. But I swing the ball, I kick it out, and I get Leonard wide open, and he missed. But just wanted to show you guys how you can get the defense moving and all the opportunities you can create. You'll get a lot of your shooters open, especially on those kick and drives with your point guard. When you hand the ball off and get that screen, it's gonna put the defense into a bind. They're gonna have to bring a lot of guys to help, so you'll get a lot of shooters wide open on that. Anyways, moving on here. I tried to be even with it. I tried to use all the branches I could, but keep in mind I'm playing Superstar Sim, so sometimes it was hard to get stuff going. So right here, we finally do get the reverse layup. That's what I was talking about. For online, that works a lot, especially in my team. If you have somebody like Westbrook or John Wall, that works a lot. Here we get the down screen of Ginobili, and I dish it off to Aldridge, who probably would have made that online or would have got fouled, but I guess they cleanly blocked it. I just wanted to show you though that other option after the screen. You know, look for your big rolling after he sets that off ball screen. Here we get a wide open jump shot. Missed it. You know, that's okay. If you guys want to see more jump shots, make sure you wait for the first screen. Make sure you wait for him to come screen you rather than pass like I did right here. You'll see this double screen every time. And looking for the flare screen. However, the computer guard did so well. I did get him up in the air, so I did get a 3-point play out of that. Alright, we get the down screen Ginobili, we wait for him to come up, and we get this double screen again. Look how Leonard is open almost every single time, guys. That works a lot. You could almost run that play, that branch every time within the freelance and get your shooters open. So if you have great shooters on the outside, you know, hold the ball, look for that double screen on the first action. Make sure you hold it and let the guard come screen you rather than pass to him off that first screen. Here we get a drive with Ginobili. I just kind of let him curl to the basket, and he had the lane, so we drew a foul there.
Now here's Mills.
Alright, so stuff looks like it's starting to break down. I did see Leonard open on the opposite side, so if you just stay within the offense, sometimes you'll see the defense just cheat over. So, you know, make sure you look for that opposite guard. He can be open sometimes, depending on your opponent's defensive tendencies and POEs. Here we see the double screen. Once again, look, Ginobili is open. They do close out decent, so I call for a manual pick and roll. They play pretty good defense, however, I don't know what they were doing. I believe that was West. I don't know what they were doing with him. They didn't help off. They didn't help over enough, so he got the open jump shot. And that's what I was saying. A lot of pros of this offense, you'll see a lot of good opportunities to do pick and fades, pick and rolls, especially with a team like the Spurs. So every time something broke down, I would just run the pick and fade. Here we see it again. Aldridge is wide open money. If the computer cheats up, you'll have your big down low for an easy pass. Like I said, that's the most important thing with these freelance offense, guys. Don't run through them every single time. You know, mix it up, call your own plays, you know, call quick pick and rolls or whatnot. That's what the NBA is about. Here we go. I give the ball to Green, coming off the down screen. I see nothing there again. Look what I call a pick and roll. They do play pretty good defense. However, I do get a lane, and I take my chances, and I do draw the foul. Golden State did play pretty good defense this game, so props to them, even though it is computer. Online, I don't think you'll see as good a defense. Here we go. You see, after he set that screen there, that was Diao, or no, that was West. After he set that screen, you see the computer cheated, and it gave him a little bit of space for a nice little, like, 8-foot jump shot. So look for that play after the screen. And then same thing here. Computer cheats over, and I get a nice pass to Tim Duncan for the bank shot.
Ginobili outside.
Yeah, and here we go. Something new after that first screen. Ginobili got a little space, so I got an opportunity to penetrate, and then again they left Leonard wide open for a nice jump shot. We got their own rebound though after the miss. We run it through again, and here is the fade screen you guys can get, our flare screen. Again, I think that'll be open more online, more so than offline, just for how the computer plays ridiculous defense on, you know, Superstar Sim. But we do draw the foul because we stayed within a play. Just wanted to show you guys that other option. And one last play here. See, stuff's breaking down again, so I call another, you know, pick and fade with Aldridge. He's left open. The computer is just cheating off. They got to respect that. So it's just money. I just wanted to show you guys that. Alright guys, just to do a quick final recap, some pros and cons. Pros, you get a lot of quick movement in this offense. You have about 4 different branches that can lead to about 12 to 13 different options within the offense. They initiate fast. Again, it is a 3-out, 2-in offense. So make sure you utilize. If you have 2 good power forwards, make sure you utilize them. Don't be using it for smaller lineups like Golden State. I don't really recommend it because you won't be utilizing Draymond Green, for example. Another pro would be that your power forwards are always in good position to do a quick, you know, pick and fade. They're always on the opposite sides, so you usually have good spacing if you call for that. When your play breaks down, make sure you know, you run through it once, there's nothing there, kick it out, and either call for a quick ISO, post up, or pick and roll / pick and fade. That can be a pro and a con. You do have good spacing. However, you can only run through an offense like the Flow Freelance one time through, and you need to get something else going because you only have 24 seconds. In this play, you run it through, it can take up to 15-16 seconds. So, you know, that being said, some other cons. It can be hard to run online, but you just have to know what your opponent is giving you and, you know, how to take advantage of that. Like I said, when you're playing online, take your fast break opportunities when they're there. When I play offline against the computer, I'm not taking my fast break opportunities. I just want to show you guys the play art. Also, you can pick up tendencies online. What is your opponent's doing? What are they, you know, who are they guarding? Are they playing on ball, off ball? A lot of these screens will work even better, in my opinion, online because users will be playing off ball, so that'll put them in a pickle on those off ball screens, because they'll either have to come up and cheat on the shooter, which will leave the screener wide open, or they'll just sag down and the shooters will be wide open. So, you know, make sure you make them pay for that. If you want to run freelance, which again I don't recommend, but you can run the freelance, make sure you set your POEs. If you want to say, for example, I want to run through Aldridge, set it to run through Aldridge. However, I'm only going to see about 2 to 3 different actions. You know, pick and roll, an ISO post up, and then that back screen where you post up. So I'd recommend keeping it on motion cuts. That's pretty much going to do it for the video, guys. Please comment, criticize, you know, tell me if you're liking these videos. What can I do to improve them? What are some other freelance offenses you guys would like to see? I know I haven't gone through all of them. However, I feel like doing ones like 3-2, 4-1 out, I really feel like that's no need for me to do a video on that, but I can if you guys really need me to do so. So again, please comment, criticize, let me know what I'm doing well, what I'm doing wrong, what I could do to improve. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully I'll have more to come for you guys. This is Car number 5 signing out. Peace.